Hi, this is your host Swapnil Bhartiya, and welcome to another episode of Success Stories. And today we have with us Mike Baldassare, Director of Product and Engineering Operations at Choozle, and Anoop Kumar, Senior Director, Global Professional Services at Mirantis. Anoop, Mike, it's great to have you both on the show.
Nice to be here.
Glad to be here.
Mike, I would love to learn a bit more about Choozle. Tell us a bit about yourself, you folks. What do you do?
We're a web-based platform. We were started back in 2013 when ad tech was sort of just getting started, and we've consistently delivered a platform that small to medium-sized businesses and advertising agencies can log in and execute advertising campaigns across multiple content. So that would be like video, display, think NewYorkTimes.com. We can do connected TV and a variety of other things. But yeah, just really putting that power that has typically been reserved for enterprise level customers in the hands of maybe a more small to medium sized agency, so that they can grow their business to kind of play with those bigger players in the space.
Perfect. Can you talk about your infrastructure so that we can also understand, later on that what problems you face and why you need it,
Yeah,
yeah, please go ahead.
the nature of advertising, like the platform's got to be highly available, because our clients need to be able to log into our platform at a moment's notice and make adjustments based on their relationships with their end clients. So we chose Kubernetes as the method to create that platform and make it highly available. And that was sort of where things led to Mirantis. So we started using one of their products called Lens, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, as a way to onboard mid-level engineers, myself, included in that, to give sort of an optics into Kubernetes and not having to run it from the command line. And Lens was sort of the perfect match. And then that's how our relationship started. And then that's kind of why we're here, is because, it grew into a really good partnership where we were able to execute a pretty major infrastructure change on our end.
You touched upon it, but I also want to go to the kind of problem area where you hit, some roadblocks, and that's when you needed Mirantis' help. So let's talk about that.
We had initially done Kubernetes as our infrastructure, and we had sort of bootstrapped the cluster. It was several EC2 instances on AWS, and it was built before a solution like EKS was available in AWS, or like before we had looked into that as the solution. And we were in the midst of a migration to Google Cloud Platform, and we wanted to make this move to the equivalent on Google Cloud, which is GKE. And so Mirantis, we did an RFP, and Mirantis was obviously on the list because of the Lens product that we had used. And so, we sort of made this decision to migrate to a more modern cloud infrastructure that takes advantage of a lot of the auto optimizations that Google applies to the cluster. And so far, it's been a stellar success. And I always like to talk about it that like we've preserved a better future for our company. And we've made a better foundation that allows us to bring in new engineers and give them that solid foundation to improve our platform on.
Perfect. I would talk a bit more about Lens and other, but I also want to talk to Anoop a bit. When you see these kind of use cases, is this the kind of you see, hey, this is the typical use case of Mirantis Lens that you see in the market? Because sometimes a lot of these use cases, they kind of bring a new challenge for Mirantis itself, right? Hey, this is how they are leveraging our technologies or technology in general. So talk about how do you look at Choozle?
For us, Lens is a great product. It eliminates a lot of the complexity within Kubernetes. But again, you must understand that Kubernetes is a very big tool. Most developers do not want to learn another tool. As it is, they need to catch up with many different technologies, frameworks, version numbers, incompatibilities, and everything. So Kubernetes is another thing that I've seen developers are not really very keen to catch up on, or they don't want to really learn another technology. Lens does a significant of lifting. It simplifies a lot of stuff. Developers do not need to know YAML, But at the same time, this is a huge, it's a giant of a technology. There are like thousands of different CNCF technologies. These are the technologies that enable cloud native applications and all that. So we want to provide that sort of guidance to the customers to ensure that they know what to use and what makes sense for their particular use case. So these problems are actually an opportunity for us, where we can showcase what Mirantis has been doing. We've been having more than a decade of experience working in the DevOps field, and we know how to help customers in exactly in Choozle's sort of space. We can help them get over all this complexity and make them successful.
Right. Now I'll go back to Mike. You said earlier, that there are other players, you chose Mirantis. Can you like point out a few things that you're like, hey, this is what Mirantis is doing, and that's of course Lens is there, but a lot of Mirantis products are also open, not product, open source. Mirantis has a lot of open source also. Talk about a few this, that helped you made the decision that, hey, you know what, we are going with Mirantis.
Yeah, I think it was just the clear partnership throughout the entire process, and that there on top of that wasn't a whole lot of pressure, at least coming from Anoop. I mean, Anoop was there every step of the way. We felt the most comfortable with the option that they presented. We felt that they had really taken the time to understand our sort of the legacy infrastructure. And it was really we also ended up signing up for a newer product that Mirantis is offering called Autopilot. At the time, I think it was called DevOps Care, but it was really meant to be this sort of 1 year of support services that we were really excited about. So that was definitely one of the things that kind of caught our eye. Whereas a lot of the other RFPs that we had out there, it was mainly like, we're going to get it done, and then you're not on your own, but you're on your own, or there's another RFP coming. And so, yeah, we just had this really like exuding confidence from Anoop and the rest of the team at Mirantis to know that like we were in good hands, and this is truly going to be a good partnership, which has been that. I mean, that's in my opinion one of our biggest calling cards as at Choozle is we always pick really good partners when it comes to technology. Whether it be integrating to a new data platform, a new data provider in the advertising space, or a new buying capability. It was pretty clear that Mirantis was of that type of partner. And so that was ultimately why we chose them.
Excellent. It's great to hear that. Now, Anoop, when folks like Choozle, they approach you, how do you approach them? Because as he said, you try to understand, their problem. So talk a bit about what is your approach so that every such partner, they feel like, what, we are a partner, we are not a ticket.
Exactly. So we look at the big picture. We try to identify where they are in their journey, in their DevOps journey, on their IT journey itself. And where do they want to be 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? And then what is it that is stopping them from achieving that? Or what is that is stopping them from accelerating that? If they have a 1 year goal, why can't they get it in 6 months, in 3 months? We try to identify those particular roadblocks, and that is where we shine, because we have worked with thousands of customers, as I said, in various parts of their journey, various stages of their particular challenges, and we know the right solution that we can pitch for them, and we can help them. We can partner with them. And again, we want to partner them throughout, not just in the technology, to improve their business, to improve their revenues, to improve their overall satisfaction. The developer satisfaction is a very important thing. That is how we approach problems such as Choozles.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm just kind of smirking a little bit over here because I distinctly remember a conversation early on with Anoop where he was just like, he just kind of put us at ease and said, it's an application, we can containerize it, we can figure out and figure out what it needs, and just the confidence that Mirantis gave us to say like it's knowable, we can do this, and it actually to what you just said, Anoop, like we were able to accelerate the timelines on some of the projects due to some outside constraints with some other work we had come in. And that ended up sort of really paying off in the end. So give me a sec, the lights going off in my office, but yeah, so it was really beneficial in the end, and we're super this side of things, breathing that sigh of accomplishment. Very grateful for where we're at today.
We talk a lot about first of all, there is a shortage of tech skill, skill gap is broadening. And then, as you folks are all talking about that, there are so many technologies that are coming in, especially if you look at CNC landscape. It's really hard to, first of all, know about them, let alone master those technologies. Plus cultural changes also needed. It depends on for how long your company has been around. And Anup, I would like to hear, from your perspective, how do you help companies? As you said, what I like about Mirantis is that you folks help companies wherever they are in their journey. It doesn't matter where they are. And then, of course, I would love to hear Mike's, thoughts also, that how Mirantis help them with this cultural aspect, a challenge, talent, a challenge as well.
Sure, yeah, yeah. So as I said, right, we have been working with a lot of customers in various stages of their journey, and we've identified some peculiar patterns of where customers get stuck. So this complexity is one thing that is definitely one thing that is in Kubernetes, generally in the CNCF technology itself. And add to that, the skill shortages, as you rightfully mentioned, that exacerbates the problem. The way we approach the solution is by automation. We automate as much as possible. We try to identify some tools. We make some hard choices. We select some particular tools which we think are the best of the breed. Again, some people may disagree, but then what we do is we put a lot of automation around that so that it really becomes irrelevant what particular tool it is, as long as it helps you achieve 90, 94, 95% of the tasks that you want to do. And with our automation, and we maintain those automation, we provide updates. And using Lens has this feature called extensions, that we can build the extensions, makes it very easy for customers to deploy them in their cluster. They don't have to really think about what is the underlying technology, which we can change. We can change. Today we use a particular technology. Tomorrow we can use some other technology if it makes sense. Like, for example, in the CI/CD space, Jenkins was very popular. It still is, but then a lot of our customers, they want to do the GitOps sort of flavor. So we had to just make that sort of change and implement GitOps into our Lens extensions. So our automation is our key. At the same time, we have experts. We have experts in various technologies. There are experts in Windows containers, experts in containerization, in general containerization of applications, image governance, security. So with these experts, we can provide them very specific skills. And this we provide it to multiple customers at the same time, which helps us to scale to as many customers and make it a very useful service for them.
Mike, I would like to hear your thoughts also on the same, the talent crisis.
So we had an interesting conundrum. We leading up to us executing on the migration, we had a number of jobs posted for tried and true DevOps candidates, and I think everybody knows the market for jobs is very competitive right now in the United States, and we were looking for someone local, like we're in Denver, Colorado, which is a very competitive tech like up and coming tech hub in the United States, and so we had that open, and the particular story I'm proud of is we were able to execute on this migration and get everything moved over. And Anoop obviously brought in a number of experts who very much helped us navigate. Here's what your current state is, and here's where we need to get you to, and here's how we get from point A to point B. But what it enabled us to end up doing in the end was we were able to bring in a software, like more of a tried and true software engineer, who had a theoretical understanding of Kubernetes, but had never gotten hands on with it, but did have like a desire to learn. And so where we're at now today is we've brought that gentleman on, and we are using Lens and the DevOps Care subscription and the support team at Mirantis, combined with their new learning management platform, to onboard that software engineer into the Kubernetes landscape. And it literally has taken the complexity out of it and made it so approachable for our engineers, to where we're now seeing other software engineers on our team, actually say like, hey, like, do you have a seat available on that platform? And we're already seeing interest, and it's just made it that much more approachable, to where now I foresee that eventually, I don't know if we'll have a full team of Kubernetes experts on our engineering squad, but we'll certainly have enough proficiency to where we can meet some of those challenges when you have, a bug that comes in and gets reported from your client-facing team, and you can actually have a full stack engineer who can say, I can solve this with code, or I can look into infrastructure, and I can solve it a variety of ways. And just to give some engineers that tool in their tool wheel, I think is the most powerful things that I'm particularly proud of with how we executed on this.
That's great to hear. Now, Anup, you folks, I mean, like most companies, you also have training and other programmers. So, do you also look at this problem as because this is a massive problem, to get skilled folks. So, how much do you think your training services also help the ecosystem players? Because the more prepared companies like Choozle are, the easier it is for you to help them.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, without question. Training is a very integral part. And that is why with this service that we packaged for Mike, for Choozle, there was a training component. So it had the professional services, as I mentioned. It's a managed service with product, but training is a very integral component. And we ensure that the developers are trained on Kubernetes technologies. We keep it up to date. There are hands-on exercises. They can reach out to the instructor. So that is one of the key ways that we can enable developers to quickly onboard the journey, and then they can also get certified in Kubernetes or other DevOps or any other cloud certifications, and they can prove their credentials to their teams. We also focus on incremental improvements. Like what we do is we have metrics. We have a metrics dashboard, and every month we focus on 1% of improvement, which over a period of time, over about 12 years, we can accumulate that 1 or 2%. We have about 24 to 25% of improvement, and that means a lot. And that is how we approach the improvement of whatever facilities or whatever technologies a company, an organization is using.
One last question before we wrap this up is that, as you folks initially mentioned, the market is, I mean, this whole ecosystem is very dynamic. New technologies keep coming in. Once again, if you go back to the point of Mirantis, you help your users wherever they are in their journey. So as new technologies come in, so that your partner like Choozle, they are confident. Hey, it doesn't matter what is the new shiny object tomorrow. Mirantis will be there to help us in that journey also. So Anoop, can you talk about that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a fantastic point, because yes, there are. If you look at the CNCF landscape, I think the last time I checked, which was like about 3 months ago, there were like 1,000 different technologies. It's very hard for any organization to even to understand the names, understand what they do, forget about implementing them, and understand if it actually helps them. So this is where our experts come in. We keep a lookout for these technologies. We understand which technology have been working for what customers, what are some lessons learned. We also have a very rich partner ecosystem, partners who have implemented this product. They've made the products even better. They have come out with some open source version of the product, which addresses some of the drawbacks within the original open source product. At the same time, they're still open source. They have a free flavor, and we implement that to at least to show how this can be useful. And if the customer likes it, if an organization likes it, they can even go for the paid product. And that is how we achieve this tool selection, or essentially what we like to call is platform engineering, where we select the tool, we implement the tool, and we prove out that the tool actually addresses the use case for the customer.
So it's been, I think this is where the autopilot service comes in handy. Is it keeps us in very close contact with Anoop and his team, and I can't tell you how many times we've had sort of our monthly check-in, and Anoop has said like, hey, there's this new technology out here, we should maybe take a look at it. I mean, that's where like the partnership really just, and leaning on Anoop's expertise so that we can continue to operate lean and focus on delivering value to our customers, and really rely on the value that Anoop and his team are providing from that infrastructure standpoint. I think if the case is any point, like we were able to continue to grow our core engineering team with those that deliver some of those front end UI experiences, and have that capability, and basically help us figure out how to use and get maximum value out of Mirantis and their products and Anoop's team. So I just can't express how nimble it's made us, and how grateful we are for that the partnership really paid the dividend.
Mike, Anoop, thank you so much for sharing this great story of Choozle, how and I also love the name. I forgot to ask the story behind the name, maybe next time, but it was really incredible story, success story. How Mirantis is helping the whole ecosystem, players partnership there, and I would love to hear about more success stories where Mirantis is helping players like Choozle. But I really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.